Everyone wants to be rich and wealthy, but very few understand what wealth creation really means. Let me explain. Most people believe wealth is a destination, a figure in the bank account, a car in the parking lot, a house on the hill. But let me tell you, real wealth is not a place you arrive at. It's a state of understanding. Discipline gives you duration. Savings without investment is just slow. Integrity on paper doesn't actually translate to character. When you measure yourself by others, you forget your lane. Wealth is a mirror. It reflects who you are and what you earn. It will surprise you to know that we are shooting this episode with a camera from our MacBook computer. We had to keep up with bringing you amazing content like this. But the world has changed. Economy only rewards value, not paper. Many hardworking, intelligent people are still broke. Why? Aren't they working enough? I know you are confused and you are wondering what I am talking about. Welcome to yet another episode of the CEO Perspective Podcast, a place where vision meets reality and dreams are shaped into businesses. I am your host, Samuel Moregrace Edehighagba. Today, I want us to talk about something really deep, something that most people have shied away from talking. It is the truth about wealth creation. If you're ready to shift your mindset about money, success, and purpose, stay with me and let's unravel this episode together. Let's start off with this uncomfortable truth. Most of us were trained to chase stability and not freedom. We were raised in a world designed for industrial age success. Go to school, get a job, save for retirement. But that model worked when life expectancy was 55, when opportunities were few, and when money had stable value. Today, that same formula only guarantees one thing, and that's predictable limitations. You see, most people do not understand that life is a journey, and only those with proper understanding goes through this journey and become successful. And this would bring me to the myth behind why most people remain broke. Number one, education equals wealth. You see, you will agree with me that education gives you knowledge, but wealth comes from applying that knowledge to solve real-time problems. Let me give you a simple story about my life. When I finished school, when I graduated, I thought I was ready for life. Of course, I studied estate management. When I walked out of that university gate, feeling unstoppable, feeling so prepared, I said to myself, now I understand real estate management. Of course, I have studied the principles of real estate management, the laws, the valuations, the investment models. I feel I'm ready to build wealth, and that's how I started my company. I had a certificate, the knowledge, and the vision. Also, I thought. But you see, within a short time, life sat me down, gave me a very uncomfortable chair to sit on, and welcomed me to the real classroom of life. See, don't get confused. In school, they taught me the theories of properties. but they never taught me the psychology of people. They showed me how to calculate land values. They never taught me how to build trust with a client. They gave me formulas for cost, but not strategies for cash flow. And when challenges came, I then realized that education had given me information, but not transformation. And without the transformation, your information that you have acquired in school is nothing but useless. My few projects taught me this. I misjudged timeline. I underestimated cost. I trusted wrong people because I thought everyone reasoned professionally. I learned that integrity on paper doesn't actually translate to character in practice. There were days I sat and asked myself, but I did everything right. Why isn't this working to my favor? And that was when I got to realize the perfect truth that education gives you knowledge, but life gives you understanding. Wealth doesn't respond to how many books you have read. It responds to how much of value you can create, and not just create, but sustain. You see, my degree gave me tools, but couldn't give me the wisdom to implement those tools. And wisdom only comes through difficulties, failure, mistakes, and reflection. Every wrong estimate taught me how to plan better. Every disappointed client taught me how to communicate better with clients. Every financial hit taught me to stop chasing profit and start building systems. It was then I realized education was the beginning of my journey, not the guarantee of my success. I keep saying this to everyone who cares to listen today, that don't confuse academic achievement with financial enlightenment. The classroom prepares your mind, but the marketplace tests your mindset. Today, when people see Sam Yauche and accolades the building and the brand, the vision, but couldn't see the lessons that Sam Yauche was built on. Those lessons didn't come from my textbooks. Of course, the textbooks were important as well, but they came from my test and pain through my life journey. So if you are starting off your journey today, I want you not to lean only on your education, lean on evaluation, because education opens the door, but understanding keeps the door open. And having gone through the tutorials of life, I have come to understand that true worth of education is not in what you know, it's in what you grow through. I hope I am making sense to you. True worth of education is not with the knowledge you have, it's in what you go through. It's with the process you have redefined yourself into. I hope you are catching something. Now, let's go to number 2. Hard work guarantee success. See, hard work builds comfort. It does build comfort, but value-driven works builds capital. Let me explain the difference between being busy and being productive. Let's think of a scenario between a bricklayer who works hard to lay the bricks of the building to the developer who owns the building. Now, let me ask you a question. Which of these two do you think earned more? I want to know. Listen, don't let anybody confuse you. I grew up to believing that hard work pays. It was deeply wired into me. When I was in school, I kept hearing my teacher saying, work hard and life will reward you. Work hard and everything will fall in place. See, and to be honest, I carried that belief into everything that I did. So when I started my company, I worked like a man on fire. Late nights, early mornings, skipping rest, skipping meals. I gave completely everything. There were weeks I was the first to open the site and the last to leave, and yet my account balance stayed humbling and the same. Client delayed payment. Project got stopped several times. Partners backed out. And one night, after another exhausting day, I sat down and asked myself, why isn't my hard work producing results? And this was how I had the bitter truth about wealth creation in my spirit. Let me say this to you. Effort doesn't guarantee success. Direction does. That night I realized I was working in my business, not on it. I was busy doing so much, but not building. I was focusing on movement, not measurement. Listen, hard work makes you tired. Sometimes you complain, but you see, smart work, it makes you free and comfortable. I was caught up in trying to prove myself that I forgot to position myself. Allow me to rewrite something in your mindset today. Hard work builds comfort, but only driven works builds capital. The wealthy people didn't just work harder, they chased impact. And after that mind shift that I started to develop from that night, I stopped measuring my day by how tired I was. I started measuring it by how much value I created. That's when things began to change. Clients started to pursue me, not me pursuing them. Opportunities started chasing me. I started to suddenly see opportunities appearing everywhere. And this is not because I worked more hours or I worked more harder, but it's because I started working with strategy and proper planning. So, yes, work hard, but never forget to think hard too. Because success doesn't respond to sweat, it responds to structure. If you have learned something from this today, I want you to quickly click on the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that when we post interesting episodes like this, you will not be left out. And it will interest you to know that we are now on Spotify, we are now on Apple Podcast, and we are on Instagram. The links will be on the description below. Go click on it and listen to more beautiful, mind-blowing content like this. Have you done that already? I'm waiting a little. Have you? All right. Thank you very much for following. Now, let's go straight to number 3 myth of why people remain broke. Savings is the secret. This is a complete lie. Let me explain. Savings without investment is just slow poverty. The day I realized my money was sleeping was a time I thought savings was the key to wealth. I have heard people say it all the time. Whatever I turn my face into, people say, save money and you create wealth. Save money and you create wealth. This made me to save every peso that I had. every cedi I had, I saved it into my savings account in the bank. And one day I was there and I checked my balance, my account balance, and then I realized that nothing actually was happening. I was only getting the bare minimum of interest. And the worst of it all is that the value of what I could buy with that money had reduced. Inflation had quietly eaten into my effort. And that day, I took a different decision entirely. You see, when you get to be saving money and you get to realize that the money you are saving is not creating any valuable meaning to your life. It was through this process I got to get this concept that savings doesn't make you wealthy. It just keeps you safe from today, not ready for tomorrow. My money was sleeping in the account while others were making use of their money by making it work for them. And to get in small worse, the bank was using my savings to force someone else's investment and giving me crumb in return. That moment I stopped asking myself, how much can I save? And I started asking, how can I make my money serve me? And I want you to know that savings is not entirely bad. But let me tell you something you need to do. When you do not understand the laws of multiplication, how money grows when it's assigned a purpose, you will keep saving and saving and saving without achieving anything. Money doesn't grow when it is laying somewhere. Money grows when it is assigned a purpose. It's not about being reckless, it's about being responsible. Like I said, saving is wise. Don't get it wrong. But investing is what creates freedom. I began to see money as a seed. And you will agree with me that nobody plants a seed to admire it in the soil. You plant it to multiply, to grow, and to blossom in abundance. Some of those early investments that I've made didn't go perfectly. This is how and where people get it wrong. But you see, I wasn't looking for perfection. What I was looking for was the principles savings wouldn't teach me, but investment could. Today, when I put money aside, I ask, what can this money grow into? How long can this stay here? And how fast can I move it into different various of where it can work for me? I have learned that saving protects you, but only investment multiplies you. So yes, education is good. Hard work is noble and beautiful. And saving is wise. But none of these can create wealth alone. Wealth isn't built from effort. It's built from understanding. And that understanding begins when you stop chasing comfort and start chasing clarity. I hope I have been able to convince you today and bring to your understanding the myth behind why people remain broke. Just before I proceed, I want you to please put this down. The system doesn't reward effort, it rewards impact. Having said all this, let's go straight to the real foundation of wealth creation. We can't be talking about the myth behind why people remain broke without talking about how can people create sustainable wealth. And these are the things that I have called the pillars of true wealth creation. Number one, vision. Let me tell you something. You can't grow beyond what you can see. If your imagination is limited, your income will follow. Vision gives direction to energy. Now, let me ask you a question. What does wealth look like for you? Is it a survival or a legacy? Why I leave you to answer that, let me go to number 2, discipline. If you can't control your spending, you can't control your destiny. People want abundance, but they don't want accountability. The same mindset that waste 50 cities will waste 50,000 to 15 million Ghana cedis. You see, when I started my journey, I had a lot of passion, a clear vision, and some experience. But one thing I didn't have enough of was discipline. See, I used to think discipline was about waking up early, keeping a to-do list, not procrastinating. But later I got to realize that real discipline isn't about doing a lot. It's about doing what matters, even when you don't feel like it. There was a season in my journey I would never forget. When we were trying to complete one of our early projects, funds were tight, cash flow was unpredictable. I was tempted every single day to take shortcuts to use a company's small savings for personal comfort or to slow down the project just to catch my breath. But something in me said, if you break structures now, you will break your future later. This gripped into my spirit, so I had to stay focused. While others were celebrating flashy things, I was still reinvesting my little gains. While friends were busy buying new things, I was just patching up with the old ones. I remembered my phone that had just gone bad. I got a phone 2020, and it wasn't because I can't afford to buy a new phone at that time, but I felt it was unnecessary because I had the discipline in me. Listen, it wasn't pride that made me not to do all this. It was purpose. Discipline became my survival strategy. There were mornings when I wake up tired of seeing the same numbers, the same unfinished walls, the same tight budget, but I just kept going because I know that discipline is doing what's required after excitement fades. The same project that I felt like was a burden to me yesterday is a great testimony to me today. Not because of luck or connections, but because of consistency, because of conviction, because of focus and discipline. See, vision gives you direction, but discipline gives you duration. Without discipline, dream dies in the middle. Discipline is what turns faith into fruit. And today, when people look at Samyauche as a company, they keep saying to me, Sam, you have done well. I smile because they see the results, but not the restraint that produced those results. So, let it sink inside your heart, your body, your soul, your mind, that discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you have said you will be. And many people never crossed that thin line between where they want to be and where they are because they stopped even before it gets hard. So yes, discipline is a real foundation of that. Let's go to number 3, ownership. The wealthy don't trade time for money. They build system that hands them money. When we talk about ownership, most people think it's about owning things like houses, cars, companies, assets, stocks. No, true ownership starts with owning responsibility. I love the story of our great business billionaire, Chief Femi Otedola. A story about him from years ago that he lost everything he owns, his company, his oil license, his fortunes, his assets, everything he owns disappeared. And people would have wanted him to give up, maybe start up something else. In fact, many billionaires would blame politicians or the economy, but not Femi or Tedola. He didn't. He said something powerful that I kept in my head. I even wrote it on every book I read. He said, he didn't see himself as a victim of circumstances. He saw himself as the source of solution. That was a very profound spirit of such a man who is broken. He went back to study what went wrong. Why was things not working? How were things out of control? And when he studied this, he took complete control of his debt, restructured his business, and rebuilt his empire from scratch. And guess what? He came back stronger, better in investing in energy, banking, and philanthropy. See, there is this accomplishment that comes with you knowing when to own, how to own, and what to own. There is a complete satisfaction in it. Let me tell you, that's the difference between owning money and owning meaning. Otedola didn't just build wealth, he built control around the wealth. He owned his failure, and that gave him authority over his comeback. See, listen carefully. You can't rise above what you refuse to take ownership of. The wealthy don't just own assets, they own outcome. I hope this is sinking into your mind. I hope this has given you reasons to embrace ownership today. And if it does, let's proceed to number 4, service. It will interest you to know that money is the reward for serving humanity effectively. People say wealth is greed, but I say no. Money is the harvest of value. Wealth creation is the harvest of value creation. I repeat these lines every day before I go to bed, and I want to share it with you. Wealth is a mirror. It reflects who I am and what I am. Wealth is a mirror. It reflects who you are and what you earn. So if you are not growing financially, maybe it's not your income, it's your reflection. Having spoken about true foundation of wealth creation, allow me to bring to you the silent enemies of wealth. Listen, before you can build wealth, you must conquer what silently destroys it. There are so many, and I'll be bringing them to you today. Number 1, comparison. You lose direction the moment you start running another man's race. Comparison kills creativity. When you measure yourself by others, you forget your lane and your grace. When you compare yourself with people's growth, you forget your journey, your process, and your destination. Let's go to number 2. Fear of starting small. Let me tell you, greatness never begins as greatness. It begins as obedience. Start from where you are, what you have, and things will work hard for you. Let me tell you, even the wealthy started in uncertainties. It will surprise you to know that we are shooting these episodes with a camera from our MacBook computer. We didn't want to wallow the uncertainty that comes when the phone we were using to shoot our videos went bad. We had to keep up with bringing you amazing content like this anyway, because we understand the journey and the benefits of starting small. So please do not allow fear of starting small kills your dream. Do not allow it to steal your journey to wealth creation. The third is pride. People most times confuse pride for confidence. Now listen, pride makes you look rich while staying broke. The desire to appear successful is what keeps many from becoming successful. Remember, the key is not to look successful. The key is to become successful. You must prepare your mind to keep pride, for it is an enemy of wealth creation. Number 4, inconsistency. Success doesn't respond to excitement. It responds to endurance. People do not want to go through the process of reformation. People do not want to go through the process of wealth creation. They are so impatient, and therefore allowing the spirit of inconsistency to steal their wealth creation from them. I want you to know that emotional energy starts a thing, but discipline finishes it. Wealth doesn't run away from people. It is people who run away from the discipline that creates it. If money comes to you today, would you multiply it or misuse it? Please, I want you to know that in order for you to be successful and wealthy, you must build income around what you understand. Don't invest emotionally. Invest intentionally. Create multiple streams of incomes, but please, one at a time. Debt before wealth. That's how you grow. And I want to advise you, document your growth. Track every coin, lessons, and mistake. Invest in relationship. My father used to tell me, people are doors, not obstacles. Reinvest. Don't reward yourself too early. Money is a seed. If you eat it too soon, you stop the harvest. Before I bring this episode to close, I want you to keep this in mind. And please, remember it all the time. Don't chase trends. Build system. Because trends fades, but system pays a lifetime. As I bring today's episode to a complete close, here is the truth no one says enough. What is enough is not the cars, the houses, the titles. What is freedom? And freedom is you choosing to build and to help others rise. If you are listening to today's episode, remember, the rich don't think differently because they have money. They have money because they think differently. And you have been listening to the CEO Perspective Podcast with me, Samuel Moregrace Edehighagba. If this episode inspired or challenge you, don't keep it to yourself. Please share it with someone who needs to hear this to keep going. And I would love to invite you to join our CEO Perspective Podcast community to get new episode each week. Just click the link in the description below or visit my Facebook page at Samuel Moregrace Edehighagba. Like I said earlier, we are on Spotify, the CEO Perspective Podcast. We're on Apple Podcast, and we're also on YouTube. Please go like, go listen, go subscribe, go share, and go create the awareness so that this video go viral. Until next time, keep building, keep believing, and keep becoming. I love you all so much, and thank you for all the support. I see them. Keep it coming. We are grateful. Have a lovely day, and God bless you.